One of the features that Edmodo possesses that is pretty useful is the quiz feature. Like any other post, you can come up here to the posting section and you can then choose to add a quiz. Now if you click on the quiz icon, it's going to give you two choices: to either create a quiz from scratch or to load a previously created quiz. Now unfortunately there's no easy way to list all the quizzes that you've created until you actually click on this link, but if I do, I will see that I've created a number of quizzes. Some of these were just tests for different classes I did and didn't even name. But it remembers all the different quizzes you create. So if you create quizzes and name them carefully and plan to use them over and over again, you can reuse a quiz every year. Or you can reuse a quiz and kind of edit it a little bit. But it creates a library of quizzes, so it is not something you're going to type up for one assignment and then have disappear for the next year. I'm going to close this. Now the create a quiz option is similar, but it gives you this screen, which is basically where you're going to start creating your quiz. Now the first thing it asks you is to name it. I would pick a name that is going to help you keep track of this quiz so that you can use it again and you can find it later on. So this might be Unit 1. Now I can also limit how long the student's going to spend on this. If I'm going to make this quiz and it's going to be 10 questions, I don't think it's going to be that long, I can limit it to 40 minutes so that it kind of puts the kid under some pressure. They can't sit there and look online and find answers to every single question. You don't have to set a limit, but I chose to here. Now the next section is choosing whether you're going to create a new question from scratch or load a question you've already created. Now every quiz you've created and every question you type up is going to be kind of remembered by Edmodo. Now if I click on the load the first question, this is going to bring up a number of questions that I have already created, and I can scroll through and find a question and use it again if I would like to. Now I'm going to just grab this one and I'm going to click load this question to add it to my quiz. Now you notice the view of the quiz has changed a little bit. Now we have one question, and this is how we're going to be able to toggle through them. On the top left you're going to see question 1. Now below it gives me the choices. I can either load another question that I've already created, or I can hit the plus button and actually create a new one. And that is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to create a new question. Now this first question is a fill in the blank question. That means when the student takes it, they're going to be able to type out a response. You can see it below. I have set what the answer is. Now I have to have this answer typed in exactly in that spelling. If it is not spelled like this, the question is going to be ruled wrong for the student. So you might want to make sure that this is something that is going to be obvious for the students to spell. This could be used for a math question as well. They'd have to type in an exact value that would match up to the correct answer in order to be ruled a correct question. Now the other question choices, if I hit add, it will default to whatever question I just used, but if I come up here to the top, I can come up and change these question types. So the first one is a multiple choice type question. Now I can have a question, I can even have a link or a document from my library added in, as well as the answers. Now you can see it defaults to 2 answers. I can hit add response and add a third answer or a fourth answer. So I can make this just like a regular multiple choice test. I can type in this question: what tool are you using right now? And I can say Edmodo, Moodle, Facebook. Now when I create this question, since I've put the correct answer in this blank, it's going to be graded as the correct answer. Now if I want to add another question, I can click the add question. Instead of multiple choice, I'm going to go with true false, and you can see it gives me a blank to type in a true or false statement. And this could be, we live in, let's go with New York. And I'm going to set that as true. And as long as people pick true, they will get credit for this question. Add another question, true or false. I can go to short answer. Describe relationship between So this question is asking for the student to write down a response. When I grade this, I'm going to have to choose whether or not they get this answer correct, because since this is kind of an open-ended question, you can't set up a specific answer for it to read. If I add another question, I can bring in fill in the blank, which is what I did in the very beginning, which asks me to type in something, and I use underscores to say what the blank is going to be. And as soon as I add that blank, it brings up what I want to put the blank in. I'm going to type it in, and there's my next answer. And I can add one more question. I can make this a matching question. And basically here, I can match A with 1, B with 2, C with 3, and then it will scramble up the answers. And when the student gets the quiz, they will move everything in the 1, 2, 3 and line them up with the A, B, C values and then submit their question. So I can match things up. Animal with its food source. Now once I'm done, I am able to choose to randomize questions. I can have the results shown. That means the students will see the results right away. So if I check that off, they will not see it until I choose to show it to them. If I don't care whether the questions come in order or not, I can click to randomize them, so I know if I have multiple students sitting next to each other in a computer lab, they're not going to get the same question at the same time. I can click preview to see what my quiz is going to look like. I can even print it out. But I'm going to click assign quiz to make this quiz active. Now when I click assign quiz, it's going to be posted as an assignment. There's one more step before we can actually get to the quiz. We need to assign the quiz to someone. Now when I open this post and click quiz, it will then say load a previously created quiz, and I can grab this science test I just added, and I'm going to choose what group it's going to go to. So Edmodo training, this is my generic group, and I'm going to click send, and all members in that group are going to get this quiz. Oh, it needs a due date, so I'm going to pick Friday and click send. Now this post is going to show up on my view. Now if you create a quiz that you assign to your students, this is what you're going to see. Kind of a chart showing who has turned it in, how many questions you have, and when it is due. So you can kind of come back in and check to see who has done what. You'll also notice at the top right in the notifications area, you're going to see as people finish things or submit things, it will show up there as well. We're going to log out and come in as a student so we can see what it looks like from the student side of things, so you have a better idea of how it's going to work. Now we're logged in as a student. Now this student has received my post, and all they have to do is click take a quiz, and it will pop up. It says how many questions it is, the time limit. They have a choice of when they start, so I'm going to click start, and the student's going to see question 1. We live in New York. True. So I have to click on 2 to get to the second question. Match each letter with the correct answer. So I can mix these up and say the gazelle eats grass and the hawk eats the mouse, and click save. I can go to 3. Describe the relationship between a lion and a gazelle in an ecosystem. Lion eats the gazelle. And I can move on to the next one. And every time I finish a question, it checks it off. What tool are you using right now? Edmodo. Molecule is made up of what? My final question. We are all residents of planet Earth. And when I'm done, I can click submit. You can see there is a timer right here. Now it's showing 5 of 6 questions completed because I have to actually click off of the question for it to kind of get entered in. But there it is. 6 out of 6 questions have been completed. I can now go to submit. And it ends this quiz. Now, it does give some feedback. The student can pick an emoticon to show how they felt the quiz went. I can say I was pretty confident, so I'm going to go with interesting. And I can click view results if the teacher has left it like that. Now I can see all these questions. Anything green, I have gotten correct. Anything in blue is waiting to be graded. So this is one where the teacher is going to have to determine if that correct answer is correct or incorrect. Now we're going to go back to the teacher account, Now when someone's finished the quiz, you're going to see turned in how many people have done it. So this is a small class, it only has one student, so I'll click on it. And when I look, I see my student. Now if I had more than one student, I would see all of their names listed on this column, and I could click on each one and see what their results were. And when I click on it, I can see the different grades. This one has not been graded. I can choose whether it's correct or incorrect, and I can actually give partial credit if I want to. If I choose incorrect, or if I choose correct, I'm allowed to give partial credit, so I could give 0.5 if it was only half right. So you have some different choices, but if I click incorrect, it marks it as no credit. So I'm going to give it correct, and I was kind of looking for a little bit more detail, so I'm going to type in 0.5, and that will show me partial credit on that assignment. Now some of the other things you can do in this screen is when you click on the student's name, of course you see all the different data, but if I click on the quiz itself up here, it takes me back to this main question breakdown, and it's going to show me some graphics of how each question went. It's a great at-a-glance tool to see how many people have scored what on a different question, so you can see which were problem questions, which weren't. You can see the class average is going to show here, along with some status and some other cool settings you're going to want. Up here in the settings wheel, there's the add to gradebook, which is a good thing. If you click this, it'll automatically add this grade to the gradebook. I can always choose to not show these results to the quiz takers, and I can choose to lock this quiz so that no more students can access it. But these are all tools that are at my fingertips here. Now, if I would like to see my class results, at any time, I can click on the Progress tab. If I click on that, I can choose what group I want, and it will show me the gradebook. Now it's going to show me a running total. So I see on this test right here, my student got 9.5 out of 10, pretty good. This other one not so great, 4 out of 7. And then I can see other assignments. It'll show whether it's turned in or not. So you can actually have lots of different things posted and kind of just see at a glance how everyone is done. Now unfortunately there's no easy way to export this to School Tool, but it's a great way to just get the test graded and get your results, and you can enter them in. I still think it'll be easier than a paper and pencil test where you would actually have to grade every test and then do an item analysis. This is a great tool to kind of shortcut that. But this is how you create a quiz in Edmodo and how you administer it and how you grade it. Thank you.